Welcome to Silent and Tailies. I hope you enjoy this story. Now, let's begin.
Every time my roommate returned something she borrowed from me, I would give that item away to someone else. Because I knew she had a system that could steal other people's fate. As long as she used my things, she would slowly steal my face, and even my abilities. In my past life, she targeted me for my family's wealth. She kept borrowing my clothes, my makeup, everything until one day, she turned into me. She stole my life, becoming the wealthy young lady, while I was thrown into the dark. But when I opened my eyes again, I was back on the first day of college. Clara, the shampoo I ordered online won't arrive for 2 more days. Can I borrow yours in the meantime? Morgana Wu stood at the bathroom door, looking at me with an awkward smile. The semester had just started. We weren't close yet. Not like in my past life, back then, she never asked. She just took my things. Seeing me hesitate, she quickly added, "Don't worry, I'll just use a little." "Clara, your family is rich, and you're so kind. Of course you'll lend it to me, right?" The other 2 roommates glanced at her, then spoke up in protest. Why should she lend it to you just because her family has money? Why don't you go buy some at the supermarket instead? Morgana snapped back, "You people don't have money, so what do you know?" One roommate fired back, "We don't. But what about you? You're not rich either." Morgana smirked, "You fools. Very soon, I'll be the rich one." The 2 girls frowned and turned to warn me, but by then, I had already handed her the shampoo. They fell silent. I smiled lightly. "It's fine. She's just using a bit." Before walking into the bathroom, Morgana sneered at them, "Some people are so petty, they can't stand to see others do better. One day, when I'm rich and you're still working for others, you'll realize how stupid you are." Morgana used my shampoo for 3 days. On the 4th day, she finally returned it, her face glowing with excitement. "My shampoo arrived. Here's yours, Clara. You're so kind." Then she stepped closer, pointing at the sunscreen on my desk. "Oh, I forgot to buy sunscreen. I see you have an extra. Can I borrow it? I'll return it later." Inside, I was angry. Return it? In my past life, you never returned anything. But I only smiled and said, "All right. Just remember to give it back after military training." She grabbed the sunscreen happily. But the moment she turned away, she sneered under her breath, "By the time training ends, it'll be empty anyway. You have money, but you're so stingy." Fine. Don't blame me for what happens next. The next day after Morgana returned the shampoo, her hair looked softer and shinier than before. When she saw her thick, smooth hair in the mirror, she couldn't hide her surprise and delight. But the moment she turned and saw my long, black, lustrous hair, her smile instantly faded. She shook her head, stomping in frustration. I couldn't believe it. Just 3 days of borrowing my shampoo, and her hair had already improved to almost half the quality of mine. If she kept using it, wouldn't she completely replace me? The thought made me uneasy. Then I noticed her applying the sunscreen she borrowed from me. As she applied it, her eyes kept wandering to my fair, smooth skin, filled with envy. I pretended not to notice. Quietly, I packed up my things and walked out of the room. It was the first day of military training. That evening, the instructor led us in a game called Throwing the Handkerchief. The handkerchief landed right behind Morgana. Amid the cheers of the group, she stood up, looking half proud, half shy. Then, "I'll sing a song for everyone." Her voice wasn't bad, but she had no real skill. Many notes were off-key. The class reacted honestly, hardly anyone clapped. When she finished, no one praised her. Her face darkened, and she stomped her foot in frustration. Then, while I wasn't paying attention, she threw the handkerchief behind me. She did it on purpose. She had overheard me singing on an online karaoke app before, and my singing was even worse than hers. She wanted me to stand up, be laughed at, and make her look less embarrassed. I stayed calm and said, "Then let me play a song for everyone." I took out a ukulele from my backpack and began to strum. The moment my fingers touched the strings, a soft, beautiful melody flowed through the air. Everyone was stunned. When the last note ended, thunderous applause erupted. The warmth everyone gave me was a sharp contrast to the cold silence Morgana had just received. Even the instructor couldn't help but praise me. "Great job." For the final military training performance, our unit could nominate you to perform. Hearing this, Morgana immediately spoke up, "Instructor, what about the others?" The instructor looked at her and replied, "Each unit only has one spot. Of course, we have to choose the most talented student." He paused for a moment, then continued, "However, the results also affect ranking and course points. So every evening after training, we'll hold a talent show. If anyone performs better than Clara, they could be chosen too." Morgana nodded, looking thoughtful. The gossiping students teased her, "What's wrong, Morgana? You want to go too? Think your singing can beat her ukulele? Don't embarrass yourself. If you perform, you'll just make our unit look bad." Angry, she shouted, "What do you know? It's just a ukulele. I can even sing while playing. That performance spot is mine." That evening, back at the dorm, Morgana tried to flatter me. "Clara, can I borrow your ukulele? Don't worry, I promise I won't break it. I'll return it after the military training." Seeing the scheming look in her eyes, I responded with a smile, "All right then." There were only 2 weeks left of military training, and Morgana carried my ukulele everywhere. She brought it to meals, to training, even hugged it while sleeping. The roommates laughed at her, "If you can't play, just give it back to Clara. Carrying it around all the time won't help. You can't learn to play in just a few days." Morgana replied confidently, "What do you know? I've been playing for a long time. I'm even better than Clara. Just wait and see." That evening, after training, the instructor held a talent show. Many students signed up, some sang, some danced, some recited poetry. But no one stood out like me. My ukulele playing amazed everyone. After watching all the performances, the instructor loudly said, "I've seen them all. Clara Zhao's performance is the best." As soon as he finished, Morgana suddenly stood up, grabbed my ukulele, and said, "Instructor, I can play and sing at the same time." The instructor smiled. "Good. Go ahead and try. If it's good, I'll nominate you." Just then, my phone buzzed with a transfer notification and a message. "Thanks for selling me the ukulele so cheaply. It's my first time playing an instrument. I promise I'll practice hard." I replied, "No problem. After military training, I'll bring it to the dorm for you." I put my phone away and glanced at Morgana, smiling coldly. She stood there, full of confidence, head held high, carrying the ukulele as she stepped in front of everyone. No one expected her to appear at this moment, and all eyes immediately turned to her. After striking a pose, Morgana plucked the first string. But right after, she frowned. "What's going on? Why does this ukulele feel completely unfamiliar? Didn't the system transfer all the knowledge and skills into my head?" She tried another string, but her face grew more frustrated. The instructor and other students noticed something was wrong. Whispers quickly spread, "Why hasn't she started yet? Does she even know how to play? Calm down. Maybe she's tuning the strings. Playing needs feeling." Feeling? A few days ago, Clara played this ukulele perfectly. Hearing the whispers, Morgana grew even more flustered, her back drenched in cold sweat. Time seemed to stretch on, and finally, the instructor lost patience. He stood up and announced, "Tonight's training is over. The performance report will be handled by Clara Zhao." Morgana jumped up in panic, "No. I can play too. This opportunity has to be mine." The instructor looked at her calmly, "Then play, if you can. but the ukulele in her hands couldn't produce a single note. The instructor shook his head and said, "All right, this spot will still go to Clara." I stepped forward and said softly, "Thank you, instructor." Then I pointed to a classmate sitting opposite me and said, "I want to team up with Yaya. She'll sing, and I'll play the ukulele." In my past life, Yaya studied music, but Morgana stole her singing skills and ruined her chance to shine. This time I was determined to help her step onto the stage. The instructor nodded and smiled. "That works out even better." Back at the dorm, Morgana couldn't hold back and confronted me. "Clara, what's going on? Why can you play, but I can't?" I looked at her, pretending to be confused. "I can play because I know how." "What, you don't?" Her face instantly froze. Afraid her system's secret might be exposed, she quickly made an excuse. "No, of course not. I just didn't want to take your spot. After all, we're good friends." I gave a cold laugh, took the ukulele from her hands, and turned to leave. She quickly blocked my way. "Where are you going?" Calmly, I replied, "To return it. I only borrowed this from a classmate." She stood there, stunned. "You mean, it's not yours?" I looked at her like she was an idiot and said, "I never once said it was mine." At that moment, she finally realized it wasn't the system's fault. Anger exploded inside her, and she shouted, "Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because of you, I missed my chance. Clara Zhao, you have to take responsibility. You've already teamed up with Yaya, so just let me join too." I gave a cold smile. "Why blame me? You're the one who wanted to perform with the ukulele. I even lent it to you. And now you want to join us? What skills do you even have? Sing? Dance?" Realizing she had gone too far, Morgana quickly tried to explain. "I didn't mean it like that. Clara, you're the first friend I made in college. Friends should help each other, right? If you let me join, I can make the atmosphere more fun." I pushed her away coldly. "Get lost. We're going on stage to perform, not to put on a circus. We don't need a clown." I turned and walked away. Behind me, Morgana clenched her teeth, glaring at my back. "So arrogant. What's so special about you? Just because your family paid for music lessons? I'm clearly smarter, more talented than you. One day, even if you kneel and beg me, I still won't look at you." After returning the ukulele, I went to the dorm manager. "Auntie, these are some skincare products I bought. They're all genuine brands. They don't suit me, so I'd like to give them to you." The dorm manager's face lit up. She gladly accepted the gift. As for Morgana, after I turned her down, she grew frustrated. She went looking for someone else to steal fate and talents from. But no matter how hard she searched, she couldn't find anyone more beautiful, or with a better family background, than me. One day, she finally gathered the courage to confess to a senior she admired. But he rejected her right away. "Sorry, the one I like is Clara from your class. I only talked to you because I hoped you could help me reach her." Morgana was stunned. She blurted out, "All this time, I cared for you, helped you with everything. You don't even know Clara. Why do you like her, not me?" The senior answered calmly, "I heard she's prettier, more talented, and her aura is stronger than yours. Honestly, if anyone had to choose, they'd choose her." Those words cut into her pride like a knife. "You'll regret this," she screamed in rage, then ran straight back to the dorm. Blinded by anger, she lost all control. She barged into the room and rummaged through my cosmetics. "Clara Zhao, let me borrow your skincare." Our two roommates immediately spoke up. "You already have your own. Why are you always demanding Clara's things? If you borrow, at least be polite. Don't be so arrogant. People might even think Clara's the one borrowing from you." Their words made Morgana calm down a little. Embarrassed, she forced a smile and spoke sweetly, "Clara, I was too impatient just now. Don't take it personally. You're so generous, and well off. It's just a little skincare. I'm sure you'll let me use it, right? I laughed coldly. What makes you think I should let you use them? Morgana frowned. You're so rich, yet so stingy? Besides, aren't we friends? Why aren't you being friendly at all? I said calmly, my skincare products are expensive. Each item costs thousands of yuan. I can't just let you use them. Unless. Unless what? She asked eagerly. I smiled. This week's dorm volunteer activities, we don't want to go. You do it for us. She froze. It's over 30 degrees outside, and there's so much to do, how can I possibly handle it all by myself? I turned away. If you don't want to, fine. Morgana glanced at the pile of luxury cosmetics, then remembered what the senior had said. Finally, she gritted her teeth and said, all right. I'll do it for you. Early that weekend, after using my skincare, she glared at us still sleeping, then stormed off in anger. Seeing her leave, our roommates got up and whispered. She really went, just to use Clara's stuff? She doesn't even have money, yet she wants luxury items. Ridiculous. She clearly just wants to take advantage of Clara's kindness. Next time, Clara, just say no. We can handle the volunteer work ourselves. I smiled softly. It's fine. I thought to myself, if she hadn't used my stuff, this performance wouldn't have worked. That night, she came back with her skin noticeably darker, burned by the sun. Fuming, she took out her anger on my cosmetics, using them recklessly. A few months later, the school held the Miss Campus contest. I signed up to join, and surprisingly, Morgana did too. When the contestant list was posted, everyone in class was shocked. Wait, isn't the height requirement at least 165 centimeters? Morgana's barely 160. Look at Clara, she's pretty, tall, and elegant. What do you even have to compete with her? You should just drop out before you embarrass yourself. She snapped in anger. Who do you think you're looking down on? You just flatter Clara because she's rich, don't you? A bunch of blind fools. I'll join this competition and prove you all wrong. Her harsh words instantly turned everyone against her. We were just trying to warn you, Morgana. That's a big competition, it'll be live-streamed, with thousands watching. If you mess up, you'll only embarrass yourself. Forget it. She's too obsessed with herself to listen now. Her eyes flashed coldly. Not long after, when I came back from doing laundry, she suddenly rushed over and started digging through my basket like a madwoman. Clara, I joined the Miss Campus contest, she said, trying to sound casual. But I don't have any nice clothes. So, lend me some of yours, okay? Before I could even respond, our two roommates quickly stepped in, pushing her away. One of them snapped, Morgana, are you serious right now? Borrowing skincare or makeup is fine, but clothes? That's personal. The other added, yeah. You already have plenty of clothes. You're just jealous because Clara wears designer stuff, aren't you? Morgana glared at them and snapped, you guys don't understand. It's just clothes. Who even cares about them anyway? She muttered to herself, if it wasn't for the contest next week, and that I need to be at least 165 centimeters, I'd never wear clothes someone else has already worn. I looked at her coldly. If you don't like them, then don't borrow them. She pointed at me and shouted, Clara Zhao. How can you be so cold? I've helped you so many times before. And now you won't even lend me a few clothes? I gave her a cold smile. These are mine. If I lend them, that's kindness. If I don't, that's my choice. Don't use fake kindness to make me feel guilty. That night, I pulled the curtain slightly and saw Morgana wearing my clothes, walking on the balcony as if they were hers. I didn't say a word, I just took out my phone and recorded everything. A week later, the Miss Campus contest began. Morgana didn't bother to hide her hostility anymore. When she saw me, she rolled her eyes and turned away, pretending I didn't exist. Our roommates were speechless. She's still mad? After all that? What kind of person is she? I've never seen anyone so weird. But Morgana snapped, you guys are still sucking up to Clara? Just wait, soon she'll be nothing. When that happens, you'll be begging to please me, but it'll already be too late. I ignored her and went backstage to change. But when I opened my bag, I froze. My dress had a big hole cut in the side. Right then, Morgana walked in with a bag of clothes. I looked straight at her and asked coldly, was it you? She scoffed, yeah, it was me. The crown this year is mine. You'd better drop out now. I clenched my fists. Even if I quit, do you really think you can win? She glared back. Who do you think you're looking down on? Don't think you're better just because your family's rich. I'll show you, I can beat you. With that, she arrogantly grabbed a size S gown and walked into the dressing room. I took another gown from my bag and quietly changed. By the time Morgana came out, I was already gone. She let out a proud scoff, took a deep breath, and tried to zip up her gown. But with her 150 centimeters height and 60 kilograms figure, there was no way that size S gown would ever fit her. Just then, the other contestants walked in. When they saw her struggling, they burst out laughing. Seriously? You can't even fit into your gown. Are you going on stage like that? One of them teased. Morgana snapped, who's talking? Look at your big legs. How dare you laugh at me? The girl laughed, so what? At least I'm not built like a bodybuilder. Morgana stomped her foot, face turning red. Just wait. Soon I'll look better than all of you, and you'll regret laughing at me. After saying that, she ran out of the dressing room to a quiet spot. She whispered, System, I'm ready, help me transform now. Got it. The host has enough energy. Starting body transformation. A cold, robotic voice echoed. Morgana was thrilled. She felt her vision widen, and her body seemed to grow taller. Transformation complete. As soon as the announcement ended, the organizers started calling contestant numbers. She got excited and ran toward the stage. She pushed through the crowd, holding her head high. The moment she appeared, all eyes in the audience turned to her. At first, there was surprise, then shock. No way, is she serious? Oh my gosh. Her outfit is so weird. My eyes, it's like they just took a million critical hits. Whispers spread through the hall, but Morgana thought everyone was impressed by her beauty. She confidently stepped onto the stage. The moment the judges saw her, they all spat out their drinks. They checked her profile again and again. Then one asked, student, are you sure you're on the right stage? The livestream cameras showed her on the big screen. The moment she saw it, she froze as if struck by lightning. Her skin had turned blotchy and wrinkled. Her waist and legs looked unusually rough and awkward. The only thing she had succeeded in was becoming taller. The audience gasped and whispered, what kind of dark magic did Morgana use? She was fine this morning. This is terrifying. She's only 20, but she looks like she's 50. Could aliens be involved? This is impossible. Morgana let out a piercing scream and collapsed to the floor. She went wild, clawing at her face and crying on stage. The organizers had to pull her off the stage. A little later, I walked out in a red gown, calm and composed. The 3 judges immediately gave high scores. Seeing this, she lost her mind and ran back on stage. How? Why did this happen to me? Clara Zhao. Did you do this because you're jealous? Give me back my beauty, give me back my body. People grabbed her and held her down. My classmates stood around me, protecting me, as I watched her scream like a madwoman. Clara, you'll pay for this. As long as I'm alive, I will never lose. Everything you have will be mine. I will make you suffer far worse than I did. I calmly took out my phone and played a video on the big screen. It showed her secretly wearing my clothes in our dorm room. The whole hall went completely silent. I pointed at her and said, "You all saw it. Her behavior isn't normal. Maybe she was injected with some kind of virus that caused these changes. I suggest we call the police and send her to a lab for testing." Hearing that, she suddenly calmed down. Under everyone's suspicious gaze, she forced a nervous smile and tried to explain, "No, please don't call the police. I'm fine. It's just the hormone medicine acting up. I just need a few days to rest. We're classmates, right? I've always been normal before, haven't I?" The students around us looked unsure. They glanced at each other, then slowly nodded. In the end, since nothing serious happened, the school decided to let it go. But Morgana was forced to move out of our dorm. Not long after, I found out my jade bracelet, the one I'd kept carefully in my suitcase, was missing. At the end of the semester, our class went on a mountain trip. Everyone was setting up tents, and I was assigned to gather firewood. After a while, I heard Morgana's voice behind me, cold and sharp. "Clara Zhao. I've been waiting for this day." I turned around and saw her face, dark, twisted, and full of hate. She stepped closer. Seeing me backed into a corner, she laughed wildly. "You're smart. You must have figured out why I always borrow things. But so what? Unless you never lose anything again, even one small item lets me steal your energy. I can use it to slowly replace you." She paused, then spat out, "Clara, people like you, born rich and full of yourself, should just disappear. What do you have that I don't? They only flatter you because you have money." I looked at her coldly and said, "You're wrong. Yes, I come from a wealthy family, but everything I've achieved was earned through my own effort. I never did anything to hurt you. You're the one who's always been jealous, trying to taking shortcuts, trying to steal my life. And now you fail and blame me? That's just ridiculous." Morgana's eyes burned with fury. "Shut up. Save those words for your next life. I've already taken enough energy from your jade bracelet. After today, I'll replace you and become the Zhao family's young lady. And you'll disappear forever." After saying that, she turned toward the empty air and shouted, "System. Turn me into Clara Zhao." Under the system's power, her face and body began to change. But instead of becoming me like she wanted, she was turning into an old woman. Her body shrank, her skin wrinkled, her back bent down. She froze in horror, trembling all over. Her eyes filled with hatred as she glared at me. How is this possible? Clara, that jade bracelet, isn't that the one you've worn since you were a child?" I smiled at her terrified face and said, "Who said the bracelet was really mine? When I was 10, I met an old fortune teller. She gave me this jade bracelet and said it would protect me from a great disaster. But she also told me it was only borrowed, and that I should return it when I saw her face again." Morgana screamed, "No, no. That's impossible." I went on, calmly. "So that's what the old woman meant. Now I finally understand." She was furious. With all her strength, she pulled her hand from the jade bracelet and smashed it. Her voice was icy. "Clara, you've ruined my life. Don't think you'll live in peace. Even if I die, I'll take you down with me." With bloodshot eyes, she lunged straight at me. But just then, my two roommates jumped out from behind and held her down. I watched her pinned and smiled coldly. I had always known she would try to attack me, and now, just as I expected, she finally did. My two friends panicked and shouted, "Call the police, Clara. She's not human anymore. She has to go straight to the research lab." I saw her transform. Luckily, I recorded everything. The police will believe us. They tied her up with the camping ropes and quickly sent me the video. When the police arrived, they quickly took Morgana to the research lab. The doctors discovered strange technology in her brain, something completely not of this world. The technology self-destructed after being discovered, leaving small fragments behind. Its explosion had already damaged her brain beyond repair. Scientists then tried to remove and study the remaining pieces. Now, Morgana is just an empty shell, forever trapped in that old, ugly body. Maybe this is the fairest and harshest punishment for everything she did.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.